Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. Hope you guys are enjoying the content on this channel as of late. We're going to be doing something a little bit different today. A little bit different, a little familiar for those who have actually been on this channel for a couple of months. You guys know at some point that I did a news roundup type video where I talked about a couple of news topics, obviously film related, and just kind of gave my thoughts on a few of them. I haven't done one of those in a while just because there wasn't a whole lot of news to discuss. I discussed a few things that I felt were just perfectly fine just to do singular videos on, because I feel like I had a lot to say on those particular topics. For this video though, we have 4 topics that I feel like I feel like I want to discuss, but also I could just not have to create like a 15 or 20 minute video on. These are like little bite-sized things, things that I find interesting, because that is the criteria. But I feel that I could just give my thoughts in like 5 minutes or so, and then be done with it, versus having to dedicate like 20 or 30 minutes on, like Avatar 2. That one I felt like I could dedicate a lot of time to, for the reasons that you can see in that video. But for here today, it's a couple of relatively new topics, and then some older topics that I would like to still address. So so let's just get into it. So following up from the Amber Heard video that I did, doesn't look too good for her thus far. If you've been keeping up with the case story, you would have known that Amber Heard has done a lot of questionable things, let's just put it that way. Some very alarming things. I think that's actually a better analogy for it, or a better word for it. If I seem tired, also, sorry. Sorry if I seem a little out of it. And if you see me drinking this just from time to time, just FYI, Jamba Juice. I have a mango go-go with whey protein put into it. It's pretty good. But anyways, but Amber Heard has been, she's been losing the case. I'll just put it that way. It's not anything definite. There's been experts that have been saying that, it seems like a fair fight, but I think that's only because they are taking everything as truth, or at least they're looking at it from a certain point of view, when really the reality is that Amber Heard has been very inconsistent with her accusations. And like, if you see her testimony, there's memes all over the place. TikTok for some reason just banned a bunch of like videos on that. It's freedom of speech, even if it's like, I'm not gonna get into all that, but it's like, I don't condone bullying or anything, but anyways, but yeah, like, there's videos of her on the stand. I watched her testimony, so I saw how she was acting, like literally acting, because it didn't come off as genuine at all. It felt very forced, she got conveniently emotional. Like when certain questions popped up, she would automatically start crying, which is not a response that a normal person dealing with trauma would, it's not a normal reaction, because someone who deals with trauma, at least to me anyway, from my experience with dealing with certain kinds of trauma, I wouldn't immediately break down upon hearing the question. It would take me a couple of minutes to get to that point, not right there, right when you throw the question my way. She also is like trying to express emotion, but like there's no tears, there's no like distortion. If anything, there's distortion for like the way that they have painted Amber throughout the entire case, like this narcissistic qualities, and they actually talked about her personality disorders, and I heard at one point she could be schizophrenic. All of that, like, just, and how she acts on the stand, it's pretty accurate. And I've heard reports that her role in Aquaman 2 had actually got cut down to like 10 minutes, which I'm actually not surprised. Because her role in Aquaman 2 is going to be small anyway, so I'm not surprised that they're considering, removing her. Because at this point, like, I think they're just waiting on the trial to end, and then they'll make an announcement about Amber Heard possibly being removed from Aquaman 2. Because the movie doesn't come out till like December, so they have a whole lot of time to reshoot her scenes, especially if it's only 10 minutes. It's like, you can reshoot it. It's not that hard of a thing to do. So will they do it? I don't know, but I mean, I think they should. I mean, them cutting down her appearance in the movie, I feel like paints an interesting picture. But yeah, it's not looking good for her at all. And I've already done a big video on the whole Amber Heard thing, so you can go check that out if you want to. But yeah, it looks like she could possibly lose her role in Aquaman 2 and other things. And from my point of view, my opinion, rightfully so. Just, a bunch of the things that was revealed in the trial and through Johnny's cross-examination and her testimony and a bunch of other things. It's like night and day. Like, it's pretty obvious as to who I believe is the victim and who is the abuser. So, yeah. So, I think if they don't remove her from Aquaman 2 at this point, I think it's going to look really bad on their part. I heard they're not removing Ezra from The Flash, which that's also like really concerning to me. I mean, maybe not from The Flash. I mean, that's understandable actually, because he is the star of the movie. You can't reshoot that entire film. But for Amber Heard, it's only 10 minutes. I mean, like, Ezra, I understand. I just jumped the gun there for a minute. I understand why Ezra can't be recast. Amber Heard, though, she's only in the movie for 10 minutes. You can recast that. So I hope that they actually make the smart move and remove her. So even if these accusations are not 100% true, the fact of the matter is that it's out there, people are talking about it, and a lot of people, like, I would say like majority are favoring Johnny, and again, rightfully so. There's tons of evidence to back up their claims. Meanwhile, Amber's evidence is faded black eyes, when her testimony states that Johnny, like, basically just beat her to death to the point where she blacked out. I don't know if you've ever had that happen, but like, if you ever had gotten beaten like that and contact with your eyes, the first thing that would happen is tremendous swelling. Your eyes would be more darker than they are, like, because they're like faded in the photos. Also, she claims she has a broken nose. It's perfectly straight and fine. There was no bruising. There was no color changes, no blood, nothing. So I don't buy it. I really don't. I don't buy it. I think that the cross-examination that's going to happen in a few days is going to be pretty enlightening. And at that point, I think WB should just make that announcement. Like, I know you're going to wait for the case to be done, but really that cross-examination is going to enlighten everybody. So if you're going to make the announcement, you might as well do it right after that cross-examination, because that's going to be brutal. So, yeah. So yeah, not looking good for Amber. So speaking of bad looks, let's go to Vin Diesel. Because Fast 10, or is it, I think it's called Fast X at this point, which I think is kind of a weird title. That's like something from like the 90s. Like, didn't we have a movie called, it was like Jason X, right? In the Friday the 13th movies? Like, I don't know, that feels like a 90s title, you know? But apparently, Vin Diesel has some creative issues. Because Justin Lin, who like did a bunch of these movies, I guess just walked out. Um, he wasn't fired. He didn't. It wasn't anything like to that degree. He basically just walked away, and the reason for it is because Vin Diesel is just stubborn, and he wanted certain things to happen with certain characters, and just wanted the story to go a certain way. Which is all well and good if this is pre-production, but you guys are filming the movie now, and at that point, then you need to shut your mouth. I understand that he's the producer and he's also the main star of the entire thing, but anybody with common sense would know that once you start rolling, yeah, we can experiment there and there, like in places that we can. In a big budget franchise like this, it's very, very minor. There's little room for actual creativity, because it's planned out, it's budgeted, schedules are laid out. There's a bunch of things that go into production, and all these wheels are turning at the same time. Then I don't like. I've been hearing like he's been having issues ever since Paul Walker's passing. Like, he had that feud with The Rock, again over creative issues and other things. Then like went on Instagram, remember, and like was like basically begging The Rock to come back to the franchise, and The Rock was like, no. So, yeah, Ven's had some issues. I don't know if he like takes this. Apparently, also he like just weirdly enough has not been doing what is needed for his role. Like, he's not been exercising. He's not been memorizing his lines. There's some people out there who made the funny comparison to Marlon Brando and his preparation for when he did The Godfather. The difference is that Marlon Brando is a tremendous performer, and when he went to do The Godfather, he put out one of the most iconic performances of all time. For Vin Diesel, he is playing a disposable action character, because no one's going to know about Dominic Toretto in the next 20 years. No one's going to care about that. So, like The Rock said, know your role and shut your mouth, Vin. I mean, like, I understand that you have a personal connection with this, and that you have a certain certain ideas that you want to bring to the table, but that is for pre-production. That is for the months that you plan out with the director. When you guys enter production, you start filming, then all of that has to go away, and you have to focus on the vision at hand that was agreed upon by the studios, the director, and you. So when you start making demands like this, you're altering the vision, you're altering the agreement that they had. And no wonder Justin walks away, because Justin sees that he's no longer making the movie that they agreed to make. So, and apparently this is an issue with other people too. I've heard Vin's had issues with other actors, and like Tyrese Gibson was a worse case when it came to the Fast and Furious dramas that have been going around. Like, Tyrese Gibson's issues were worse, but Vin's like right behind it, because he's just in some ways destroying his own franchise by being so like, keeping it in close proximity. He's not willing to share it. And from a creative standpoint, I can kind of understand that. But the best pieces come out of collaboration. They do not come out of just one person's head. You know, it's about experimenting. It's about finding new angles. It's about discovering things that you haven't found yet. Like, that's the fun of filmmaking. When you start doing things that do not involve the other crew, of course you're going to be creating a certain environment on set, and people like the filmmaker are probably going to walk out. So I don't know what Vin's issue is. I mean, like, showing up to set that way as well, like not preparing and not memorizing your lines. Like, if he really is trying to put up like a whole like Brando type thing, like where he's like trying to put on a certain acting shtick, like I respect all artists. I respect their methods. Like, I respect just if you prefer to embrace the role and versus just playing the role. You know, I'm fine with that as long as everybody is aware as to what you're doing. As long as you make it aware to everybody. Like, I don't want to come off a certain way, but I used to play in that type of field before where you embrace the role in a certain respect. I don't want to use a certain term because that kind of puts it in a certain light, but anytime that I would do stuff like that, I would always inform my crew beforehand that those types of behaviors were going to come onto set and that it has nothing to do with them. You know, just basically telling them that I'm going to do my thing, and you know, you guys can still talk to me and everything, but the projection, the way I come across, the delivery, that's a character. That's not me, you know. But we can still talk about collaborations and, you know, certain ideas. You know, it's being open-minded while also doing your job. You know what I mean? It's being self-aware while also doing what you believe is necessary for the role, you know? So it's finding that balance, basically, you know, because you're not going to be that, you know, that a-hole who just does all these things because, you know, you want to be able to play your role to the best of your ability. There's people around you. You have to respect them. You have to treat them with respect and courtesy, and you have to be willing to invite them in on the creative process. So if Ben is just, you know, putting up like a certain shtick or doing like an acting thing, then you should drop it, like, because at that point you're being destructive and you're not wanting to play ball, you know. They just threw in like some random director to help finish filming the movie. Thankfully, it just started filming, so they didn't like. It wasn't like they were halfway through it and they just, you know, Justin decided just to jump ship. I think they got Lewis something, the dude who directed The Incredible Hulk. So I guess he is now piloting this plane. Or captain of the ship. I guess that's a better phrase. But yeah, I'm not sure what's up with Vin. I don't know what's up with him. I don't know what's his deal. If it's an acting thing, like just drop it. Or like I said, find a balance in being that person while also treating everyone around you with respect and courtesy and being collaborative. Because if you can't find that balance, then just drop it. Just play the role. Just read your lines. And respect everybody who comes in. Like, if you're going to be bringing in these big stars, like, not big stars, but like these stars, like notable names, like Brie Larson and Jason Momoa, I hope that you're okay with what they bring to the table. Because if you're not, then you have to not be surprised if some of them walk out. Because if you're not willing to play ball, then you're not going to be able to create the film, the best film possible. So yeah, hopefully there's not much more drama going on with that. But some people are blowing it out of proportion. They're like, oh, the movie's gonna suck now. I'm like, that doesn't mean anything. I mean, I don't think this movie's gonna be great anyway. I'm not a fan of Fast and Furious. But you know, creative issues happen all the time, and movies still turn out really good. But it does put a concerns. I definitely will agree with that, but not to the extent of people are saying like the movie's doomed or whatever. It doesn't mean anything like that. But yeah, hopefully Vin gets himself together and they can just move forward peacefully and creatively and collaboratively. So, speaking of projects, let's talk about Will Smith for a minute. Yeah, it's been a hot minute since we've talked about Will Smith because, well, Will Smith has not been anywhere, basically been in hiding mode. He went to India for some reason, for like some spiritual guidance. I mean, you do you, man, but I don't know what that's gonna do. I mean, if it helps your mental health, that's great. Career-wise, I don't know what that's gonna do because a lot of his projects are put on hold or have been delayed. He had a film coming out later this year called Emancipation, directed by Antoine Fuqua, who is an okay director. It was going to come out on Apple TV Plus, but now that film has been delayed to 2023, but they have not put out a date yet. So in some ways it's delayed indefinitely until they actually put a date down. There's no like, you could say it's coming out next year, but if you don't put a date down, it's kind of in limbo right now. So Bad Boys 4 was put on hold. Some other films that he was working on were putting on hold. Some like stuff that he executive produced got canceled. So yeah. Now, you guys know obviously that I, like many others, did not agree with what Will Smith did. I don't care how you try to spin it. The fact of the matter is you can't justify those actions because, assault is assault. You can't justify it. There's nothing that you can do that can warrant violence, in my opinion. There are ways to deal with it. Violence is like one of the last thing that you do. Like it have to be a very, very extreme situation for that to even be considered. So I don't think it was good what he did. Now that being said, like I said in the last video that we talked about in regards to Will Smith, I think that a lot of the punishments that he's been receiving, some are justified. I mean, some are also kind of BS. That whole Oscar thing that they did, his 10-year thing, yeah, you can watch my video and see how I felt about that. But putting all his projects on hold, I mean, I get that for the time, but right now it's May. That happened in like what, March? So I mean, we still talk about it, but we talk about it now in like that, like, remember that little funny moment at the Oscars, that kind of atmosphere, not the like, I mean, I think it came back up again because of the Dave Chappelle thing that happened. But like, give it a few weeks and people are not going to talk about it again. Like, I don't know why you would put these projects on hold, especially projects that have potential to make money, like Bad Boys 4, I think would have potential to make money. Emancipation, I heard, was going to be like Will Smith's like next Oscar caliber performance. Basically, just them trying to garnish hopeful awards consideration. Like, I don't know, like, it just seems kind of weird, especially all for a slap, like that's because of that's what it was. It wasn't close fist. He didn't punch him. He didn't do anything aggressive, like shoving him and then slapping him, nothing to that degree. All he did was slap him, which is still assault, and it's still a bad thing to do. But at the end of the day, when you take a deep breath and you just realize what the man did, all he did was slap him, and also cussed at him. But I mean, who doesn't cuss at anybody, you know? Like, I mean, like I look at the whole situation and I go, yeah, he should be punished by the academy, and he should be given like a small leave of absence by his union. But once that's all said and done, like these projects should still be moving forward. Like Bad Boys 4 should still be moving forward, and all these other projects should be moving forward. Like, I just feel like putting them on hold, I don't see the justification for it when it's minor assault. Because there's worse things that he could have done. Again, he could have punched him. He could have tackled him to the ground. You know, like there's things that he could have done that are far worse than getting slapped. You know, like I said in the video, it's like, would you prefer to get slapped or punched in the face? I'd prefer to get slapped in the face. Yeah, I mean, I think that it's a bit of a, I don't know, I don't really agree with putting his projects on hold, and I just have a hard time understanding why you would do that, especially since now time has passed, like I think that we should be able to move forward on development on some of these projects, and it's, it boils down to the studios, it's what they want to do, but I just don't see, because all these studios say that it has nothing to do with the Oscars. It absolutely has to do everything with the Oscars. Like they're, oh, it has nothing to do with the incident involving Will Smith. I'm like, it does though. Like, it's a direct response from the Oscars incident. Like, I don't know. Like I don't really agree with putting the projects on hold, especially again since we're now 2 or 3 months out from said incident. Like just move on, move forward. It was a bad thing. He got a punishment from the academy. I don't know if the union has done anything yet. I don't know if they've done anything for him yet. They should. But if they had, then that's happened too. Move forward. That's it. Just move forward. Like there's nothing else we can do. He's not going to go to prison or anything. Like he just slapped the guy, which was bad, but again, could have been way worse. So, and he's a box office draw. So I don't know. I don't understand why all these projects are on hold. So hopefully we things can change in the next coming weeks. Because at this point, I feel like you just move forward, So, yeah. So, seems a little strange to me. And then the last thing we're going to talk about, which is also relatively strange, is involving Elizabeth Olson, who is doing press for Doctor Strange 2, which, by the way, I did my first impressions video on, so you guys can check that out whenever you get the chance to. She made some interesting comments in regards to criticizing Marvel movies. Her defense is, you shouldn't do it because of the people who work on them. It's a very ignorant statement to put out there. It's also a really biased thing to say. Because just because you know people does not mean that they get a pass, okay? Like, by that logic, that means that if a friend of mine makes a short film and they ask me to watch it, am I automatically going to say that short film is great just because my friend made it? Absolutely not. If you present to me your work, or you're putting your work out in public, you're basically telling people like me, or anybody else who comes to see it, that we want to hear your feedback. We want to hear what you guys think of the film, because that's the whole point of releasing a film. You want people to talk about it. You want people to discuss it. You want people to hopefully give it positive ratings, and also, of course, make money. But like Olson should know this, and Olson should also realize that her franchise has now like 20 to 30 movies in, and people are experiencing burnout with it. Like, I am officially done with it. I call Doctor Strange 2 my last MCU movie. And the reason for it is because there lacks any innovation and a wanting to change and grow. And that's just my perspective on it. And it's also fair criticism. You know, it's also just literally criticism. Like, the difference between insulting somebody and then criticizing it, insulting someone's work, I forgot to add that last part, insulting someone's work versus criticizing someone's work is this. Like, if I, give me 1 second, let me pull a movie out real quick. So this is what a fair criticism looks like. Let's talk about The Humans, for example. The Humans is my favorite film from last year because the performances in it are strong. I feel like the ensemble is tight and they all feel included. No one feels like they're outside of the group. You know, everyone feels like they're involved. It's also a very natural representation of discussion. You know, when people like talk in this, they're not doing it for like dramatic effect. Like, they're not like taking these big pauses or anything like that. There's overlapping. There's you know, people expressing themselves in all different ways, and you get to understand everybody, like down to like I'm trying to think who's the person that we see. Actually, yeah, I can't point to anybody who has the least amount of screen time. Everybody here is given fair screen time, and I mean, Richard Jenkins is amazing in it. You can sense there's something wrong, but you can't tell what it is. And the tension in this is thick. Like, there's like, it's a horror film in hiding. Like, similar how I said to Spencer, this is a horror film in hiding. Just the brewing atmosphere, the jump scares. There's actually jump scares in this, and legitimate ones at that. Just like, on top of all that, the camera work is like just superb. Like, just all the tripod shots are just basically just stable shots. The moving shots, like, all that feels purposeful. It doesn't feel like it's just there just to be showy or just to be preachy or creative. You know, or sorry, like just pretty images. You know, like, they actually all serve a fundamental purpose. The directing in here is spot on. It feels real. It doesn't feel, I mean, it's based off a stage play, funny enough, but it doesn't feel that way. It feels organic. It feels natural. And I feel like all the shots also just, you know, like this is an outstanding movie from both a visual medium, a performance medium, and from a directorial standpoint. Like, there's so many great elements to this that, like, really amount to a really, like, haunting yet humane type of experience. You know, like, it's very calming but yet very threatening at the same time. So it's a very interesting, you know, combination of emotional, you know, settings. So yeah, watch The Humans. It's a really great piece with many outstanding elements, and it was my personal favorite film of last year. That is what a criticism looks like. Here's what an insult looks like. This movie sucks because it sucks. It's a terrible movie. Everyone who worked on this should get fired from the industry. They do not deserve to have work ever again. Everyone in this movie needs to be thrown in prison because this type of monstrosity I feel like I was just physically abused watching this movie. It is just terrible. And anybody who believes in this movie or thinks this movie is great should seriously just consider just ending their life. Like, this is just terrible. And everyone in this movie is just like, why do you have a career? Like, seriously. Like, this is just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And I hope that all of you just, you know, just get out of Hollywood. Seriously. None of you should have careers. Seriously. So those are the differences. And Olson believes that, a lot of Olson believes that that Mario thing I did is what criticism looks like. No, it doesn't. Like to talk about Doctor Strange 2 for a minute. I thought it was fairly inconsistent. I also thought that the developments of Wanda, which, by the way, if you see her interviews, just the way that she talks about like Wanda and all that, like even the interviewers are like, so where was Vision in all this? Where was this and that? Like where were these elements that were set up in WandaVision? And you see her like trying to excuse all that. Remember, she's contractually obligated, so she's not going to, talk ill of the product that she is promoting. So, I mean, she even mentioned that, like, she didn't even film the finale of WandaVision before jumping into Doctor Strange 2 and, getting the script. Like, she got the script for Doctor Strange 2 in the midst of filming WandaVision. So, she doesn't have any control as to what happens to her character. But I can see that she sees the missed opportunities, especially, like, narratively what they set up from WandaVision to Doctor Strange 2. It's inconsistent. Like, there's, like, the way that Wanda acts in Doctor Strange 2 doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. I mean, there is some sense to it, but it's not set up properly. I also thought it was a clashing of creatives again and all this stuff. Like, this is the stuff that I'm saying. This is what a critique looks like. Again, I'm not bashing you personally or attacking you personally or saying that you shouldn't have a career and all this stuff. Like, I'm not saying anything like that, because at the end of the day, this is just a movie. Both these right here and all the other films on my shelf, these are just movies. Okay, these are not. It's not like Amber Heard, where there's like, where she actually like damaged an individual. Like, these are just movies. It's just make believe. And in a culture like this, we are allowed to say what we like and really didn't like. So it's called an opinion, and I think that her comments were very ignorant, and I think that she needs to just respect the fact that criticism exists and that people are going to have different opinions about your work. It's very weird to say to an actress, especially a star like Elizabeth Olsen, who stars in these big movies. I feel like she should know this. So, but yeah, those are all the news topics for today. Talk basically just a lot about people's, just a lot about individuals today. But you guys let me know your thoughts on all these topics, and if there's any other types of videos that you guys would like me to do, let me know. I would love to experiment on this channel. But yeah, seriously though, watch this movie though. This movie is really good if you haven't seen it. But yeah, guys, that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I don't know what will come next. First impressions video, another just random topic video, who knows? But I'm open to suggestions if you guys want me to try anything new on this channel. So, but yeah, that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll catch you guys next time.